When I was a boy, I spoke as a child. When I became a man, I put away childish ways. I'm on my grown man status. I'm on my grown man status. Living in a world of boys to men. Being high value, you lose some friends. Successful life requires rights.
That track you just heard there is by me. It's titled Grown Man Status by the Saint Roman, which is me. And it's also the theme song to this podcast titled Man Status 101. Now, before we go any further, I need you to do me a favor and click the like button and also subscribe to this channel so I can build this up and we can get some good content coming out from this wisdom that I'm shooting. Also, good morning, good afternoon, or good night, whatever time zone you in. Let's get to it. Now, the title of this specific podcast for today is Back to the Future, Speaking to a Younger You. Now, what we're going to do is take your mind back. Remember, there was a time when you was younger and you had all these dreams and admirations of what you're going to be in life. Some people wanted to be a police officer, a movie star, an actor, rapper, athlete, dentist, doctor, lawyer, judge, all these things that you really wanted to be when you got older in life. And if you take a second right now and just sit back and think, take yourself back to when you was in middle school or maybe your earlier years in high school, all the things that you plan to be. Do you remember what you said you were going to do at this time in your life right now? Where would you be? How much money you'd be making? And just your future of where you would be from the time you were at that age. And if you could go back and you could talk to a younger you, go back to the future, kind of like the movie, where Michael J. Fox went back in time. And when he did, he found out that, his mom had a crush on him or whatnot, but he had to get his parents back together. Otherwise, he didn't exist. Or a movie such as like The Butterfly Effect, where you can step on a bug and it can just hit a ripple and just mess everything up in the future or just change things dramatically. But if you had a chance to go back and stand right next to the person you are, what advice would you give yourself? Would you even change anything? Now, I hear a lot of people say, I wouldn't want to go back in time because if I went back in time, I wouldn't have the kids that I have, and that doesn't kill me, can only make me stronger. So I wouldn't be the person I am. But what if you could go back in time? You could give yourself some advice. Certain places not to go, certain friends not to hang with, certain drugs not to try. I mean, I think we all have those few high school friends. Kind of like 50 Cent said, dang, homie, back in school you was the man, homie. What the heck happened to you? Of course, I ain't using the profanity, but you get where I'm coming from. The point I'm making is a lot of people started off on the right path, but if that person now could go back and talk to them and they could see how they turned out in the future, maybe they would have made different, plans or went about things differently in life. You know what I'm saying? Like, you may have started off really bad and got good. And you can say, hey, I wouldn't change anything because I turned out the way I did now. But then you might think about if your parents got a divorce and you went with a specific parent and things went a certain way. And if you had went with another parent, how things may have changed dramatically for you. What schools you may have went to. Instead of going to this college, a lot of people have certain scholarships that are offered to them. And they think, hey, maybe I should have went to a HBCU. Maybe I should have went to a nice Division I, a state university. Maybe I shouldn't have started off at that major university and took 2 years and went to a community college where the classes are still smaller and I have a one-on-one relationships with my professors, kind of like I did in high school, versus going to a university and it's like 1,500 people in that auditorium and I got a little tape recorder there and I can't quite get the information I need to study on. I need at least 2 more years to study. So when I'm out there with the big dogs, I'll know how to study, get a tutor, and get my assignments done. Because we know when you hit those universities, when you come in that class, you drop that assignment in that tray. That's it. Ain't no, hey, can I turn it in later? Ain't none of that. You're a number. You're not a one-on-one. There's nobody in college like they are in school. Go to class, get out of the halls, go to class. You're an adult now. You got to be more responsible. A lot of our kids get those opportunities, but when they get there, they don't realize. See, your teachers may have let you get in some of these high schools class and tardies. You get too many tardies in college, they drop your butt, keep your money. You just lost that class. But if you could go back, what kind of information would you give yourself? Would you sit there and say, hey, we're not going to eat these types of food because it got me glutting and I became so obese. I don't want to get trapped in that. I'm not going to go to college and go to all these parties and drink this alcohol because I became an alcoholic. I'm not even going to try this specific drug because I became a drug addict. I had everything. Kind of like the movie New Jack City when Chris Rock was in the room and there was a crack hallway and he told the girl, she said, I was the prom queen. He said, prom queen? You ain't nothing but a prom thing now. See, some people start off on the right road, but they're not quite ready. And I think if there was a way that we could be young and we can look and like, whoa, that's how I'm turning out, you or me? That can't be. I'm supposed to be sitting on $500,000 by now. I'm supposed to be this. I'm supposed to be that. But in the real world, it doesn't quite work like that. You know, they always say a wise man learns from a foolish man's mistakes. Meaning, if I see the mistakes that you make, I'm going to be wise enough not to walk through it. If there's a pile of manure right there and I see a guy walking through this grass and he comes out and his feet is full of manure, I'm not going in that grass because I don't want to get my shoes stinky either. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to be like, nah, I'm going to walk around this way because I already seen what happens to you. And here's another thing. If things ain't working out for you in life and you're constantly doing the same things over and over and over again, it's not going to work. It means that you need to try something different. It's like sitting in a bus. The engine is broke. Changing the drivers of that car, of that bus, is not going to get that bus to move. You're going to have to get up under that hood and change something. And if you just turning a few screws and messing with a few wires and you keep doing that over and over and over and over, nothing is going to happen. You got to keep trying something different till something works for you. And I look at a lot of things in the past. I'm also an SRO, school resource officer, police officer that works in the schools. And I'm not just an officer. I'm an officer that loves my students. I give them education. I like to motivate them, speak to them about things that is going to come their way. See, I've been their ages. They've never been mine. So a lot of times I already know what's coming around that corner too. So I try to feed as much wisdom to the young as I can. They say it takes a village to raise a child. And that's what a lot of us got to do. We got to learn to give back, to teach them about the system, about how things work. Sometimes take them to homeless shelters. Let them talk to some of the people that are out there. Because a lot of times those people in those homeless shelters was just like you and I, and even better. Some of them may have been stressed out, may have lost a relative and just shut down and just couldn't take it no more with the world. A lot of them people ain't bums. Those people are beautiful people. It's just sometimes things happen. I worked at a homeless shelter at one time. I've met people who contracted HIV or AIDS. And imagine when they get that, they come home, their family starts acting funny. You got to get out of here. You can't stay here. Their own family they're scared that they're going to catch it. So they throw them out. Where do they go? To the streets? They're so depressed, some of them turn to drugs. You don't necessarily know why somebody's doing something. You don't know how strong you are till you've been tested. A lot of families throw their relatives out because they're afraid to contract something. You don't really know what love is until you get into a situation and how your own family may turn their backs on you. That's why I said, if you had a chance to go back to the future, what would you say to yourself? Because there's so much advice you could give yourself. But then here's the next question. Are you the type of young person that will listen? Because you can always take the horse to the water, but you can't make the horse drink that water. I've heard people say, I would say stay in school. I wouldn't mess with boys. I wouldn't mess with girls or this. Use some things you just going to do naturally by human nature. But one of the biggest keys you need to do is think about who you're hanging with. You are who you hang with. With females, it's a little different because a lot of them have to decide what types of guys they're going to date. Who are they going to have their kids by? Because when it comes to getting pregnant, you're the one carrying that kid. You have to be the mother. You have to teach that kid things. And always remember, males and females, all children carry 50% of the chromosomes from the mothers and fathers. So they're going to carry certain traits from each other. And try to find somebody that when things get bad, they don't just up and leave. Or if they think the grass is greener, they just jumping over there. Be wise. Set yourself some goals. Teach yourself. We don't want to go this route. What type of people you're going to hang with, the people you love. A lot of times people like to hang with people who really don't even care anything about them. They're just using them. And when money runs out, they run out. You know, a lot of people put everything into this rap game. I'm going to be a rapper. I'm going to be a rapper. I'm going to be an athlete. It's all good till you break that foot. Or you have an injury. As it said in Come Fly With Me with Michael Jordan, an injury, an athlete's worst nightmare. You could be the coldest thing on earth, but if you get hurt and you can't play, you can't play. That's where that education comes in to fall back. Did you focus too much on your skills as being an athlete? Or did you take that advantage, that scholarship, and get you an education up here? So even if you get hurt, worst come to worst, your basketball skills got you a degree, got you that education. Don't just focus on entertainment in this world. A lot of times in the urban community, that's what our people want. Sing, dance, rap, act. But what happens if those things don't take place? And one of the big things I hear about a lot of people, they say is, I could make it. I could do this. Yeah, you could also win the lottery, but what are the chances you winning that lottery? Look at all the billions of people that play lotteries when they hit like $1 billion or more. How many people actually win with the numbers that they're picking? Very few. So you got to start thinking logically. You got to think about the percentages of where you would be if you go down a certain path. And a lot of times we gamble on the thing. Everybody thinks they're special. When a lot of people even rank themselves, how do they think they look in this world? Oh, I'm a 10. I'm a 10. You need it. It don't work like that in the real world. Because if you want to believe 2 plus 2 is 100, I don't care how much you think that's 100. 2 plus 2 is equaling only 4. You got to start using reality. You got to start using this. Think about the goals that you can achieve, not the ones you necessarily want. Go for those, but also achieve the ones that if that doesn't work out, you can still live a good lifestyle. And that's the problem with a lot of our youth is, I'm going to make it like this. I'm going to give you an example. I had a student one year. He had tattoos all over his face, his neck, all that stuff. And I looked at him and I said, why did you get so many tattoos? And at this time, he's only like a sophomore in high school. Well, I'm going to be a rapper and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. I said, what are your chances of doing that? I don't know. You know, Lil Wayne, this is a time when Lil Wayne was really hot. Lil Wayne did it. I said, yeah, but Lil Wayne's got money. Lil Wayne already made it. You haven't even got your foot wet yet. I said, let me give you an example. Let's say you don't make it as a rapper. Let's say you come into a whole lot of money. You've made $500 million. You've got to invest an opportunity to invest $200 million with a Japanese company. And when you merge this specific amount of money with this company, You're going to double what you make. You're going to take that 500 million and make a billion out of it. But you need somebody to represent you. Who do you send? You got two people going for this job interview that you got to interview that's going to go over to Japan to represent your company. You got a guy, he's got on a suit, a tie, his hair is combed nice. He's well groomed, educated, has a briefcase. Then we have you coming in with the tattoos, blonde hair, tattoos on your neck and everything. And you both of you go in and apply for this job. Do you hire you the way you're looking right now? Or do you hire the guy that's clean cut, not tattoos all on his face, well groomed with a tie on? He dropped his head. I said, what's wrong? He said, man, I wouldn't even hire me either. Just look at me. I said, hold your head up, young man. You're young. You still got plenty of time in life. I said, you made some mistakes. But a lot of times people don't show you that mirror, that reflection of life that you're going to have to stand in front of others. See, what I want you to do is I want you to see the world how the world sees you. There's all kinds of stuff out now that can take tattoos off. You can see as 50 Cent had all these different tattoos and a lot came off, but then he put other ones on. So you're at least living in an age where they can take these tattoos off. But you got to think about the specific jobs you get. Even you said you wouldn't even hire you the way you look. And I know it hurts, but I got to teach you the truth. I want you to know when you get out there how the real world works. You can change and get that stuff off. But I want you to look in the mirror and see the great looking young man that I know. And apply the skills that you have. Look presentable, that is if you own the corporation and you had to hire somebody. Would you hire somebody that looks like you? You have to put yourself in other people's shoes so you can know where you stand when you look at you. You can't just say, I'm me, I'm special, because it doesn't work like that. There's a lot of guys who are great guys. They have everything so much to offer, but because their height is short, a lot of women won't even look at them because they're not even 6 feet tall. You know, we have to present ourselves in a way, the best way that we can, and eliminate any type of thing that may stop us from achieving our goals. The point I'm saying when I say go back to the future and talk to yourself, what would you say to yourself? Now, the point that I'm making with that right now, life's not over. You're still alive. So whatever you would go back and tell yourself back then to get your life together, use that advice right now. Use it right now to apply to yourself. Cut all your bad habits off. They're not going to just disappear right away. It's about a process, trying. And you start applying these things that you would tell yourself, and you start working slowly, more and more. You start cutting certain people out of your life. Once you start becoming successful anyway, you're going to see some people disappear and some are going to try to cling. Let them go. There's always newer people that you're going to get with. Surround yourself with people who are succeeding in fields that you want to go in. You share that in common. There was a movie when I was a kid. It was called Trading Places with Dan Aykroyd and Eddie Murphy. And what they did was these two old men, they took a bet. And this bet that they did, that they could take a homeless guy and make him this big, rich, millionaire guy to run a corporation. Eddie got a taste of it. I remember he threw a big old party in his apartment, and he invited all his thugs and homeless people in that party, and they started tearing up. He like, hold up, this is Persian. This is a Persian rug. What are you doing? He got mad. He kicked them and threw them all up out of it. I got something nice. Y'all ain't about to tear this up. Because a lot of times we become a product of the environment that we're in. And what Eddie showed you is if somebody would have gave me the opportunity, I could run this stuff. And when I get something nice, I ain't gonna tear it up. I ain't letting y'all come up in here and tear my stuff. Oh no, you ain't coming in here. You ain't stepping on my Tom Fords. You ain't about to mess up my Persian rug. You ain't about to tear up nothing of mine because you ain't used to nothing. Get yourself something. Start appreciating, working harder. And then when days that you take off, I want you to just sit back, smell the air, and just look at what you've accomplished. And you can always say, man, I'm not where I want to be yet, but I've come a long way from where I used to be. I ain't back there no more. And that's what life is all about. It's about taking steps and getting further and further in life. And the only reason I keep saying going to the Back of the Future and speaking to a younger version of you, because a lot of people was in school and they was messing up and they were doing all kinds of things. If you got teachers or people around you and they ain't getting on you, something's wrong. Somebody that loves you is going to tell you the truth, even though it's going to hurt your feelings. But they're not just going to tell you something. They're going to give you the pros and the cons to everything that they're saying. They're going to tell you why you shouldn't go this route. They may give you examples of people who went that route. You want to put people in your life that's going to make you better. I remember watching Mike Tyson when I was younger. He was just invincible with the people he started with. But after Cuss died, he surrounded himself with a bunch of people who didn't really know nothing about boxing. I remember watching him fight Buster Douglas. They in the corner. Oh, Mike, well, just hit him. They're not telling him, hey, bob, weave, duck, this and that. You know, he wasn't properly trained because you got a lot of people who are just along for the ride. See, a good trainer is going to tell you, get up, do 15 miles of running, do this, get tired till you throw up. So when that last second and your legs is about to give up, you still moving, you still pumping. No pain, no gain. That's what it's like. That's what it's about in life. So when you go back to that younger version of you, and if your parents is giving you everything, and later on in life you fail, it's because you never got to experience the hurt, the pain that makes you stronger. That doesn't kill you will only make you stronger. That's real. I need you to think back. Because when I think back to when I was a certain age and I said where I would be and I'm not where I'm at right now, it's almost hurtful to me. I'm like, man, dang, I made a lot of wrong decisions. I focused a lot on the entertainment. I've done it all. I've played high school, middle school, college basketball. I've rapped, I've toured. I was a headliner at the 2002 Winter Olympics. I've been all over the country doing music, made independent films, broke bread with platinum and gold and platinum artists. I've done so much. And as you get to know me through this podcast, you're going to see there's a lot that I want to share. There's a lot that is standing before you that wasn't given to a lot of the people in my generation. And as we proceed with this podcast, you're going to see where we're going. I want to open your eyes up to the entertainment, relationships, religion, politics. We're not just going back, but we're also going forward into the future. So I'm just asking you to please subscribe to this channel, like the videos, tell many people about it, because we're in for a heck of a roller coaster ride, and we're going to touch a lot of things some people are afraid to talk about. I'm not perfect by far, but I sure strive to be the best that I can. And I want to open up your eyes on a lot of things. There's a lot of things I even want to touch when it comes to the younger generations. I work in the schools. I talk to the kids. I talk to the parents. And I've dealt with at least over 100,000 students from the Missouri to the Kansas side. I'm located in Kansas City, Missouri, the heart of America, the Midwest. I'm also a military brat. I grew up all over the United States as well as overseas. So I've got so much to share with you. I want to open up some things. We're going to even talk about how to bridge the gap with parents and students, schools, not just that, active shooters, policing, being a minority, all kinds of things out here. I want to open eyes up to a lot of different things. And as time goes on, we're going to open up the lines. I'm going to be doing some podcasts with live people too, so that we can cover many things. But just to let you guys know, I'm Daryl the Saint, also known as Roman. And this podcast, Man Status 101, is about boys to men. What we talk about, where we grow, where we be. And I wanted to start this off with Back to the Future. If you could speak to a younger you, because how in the heck can we know where we're going if we don't even know where we've been? If we don't even know how far we came? You see what I'm saying? So I'm going to end this one pretty quick. And I really hope that you just share this with as many people as possible. We're going to touch, we're going to grow, we're going to get to know, we're going to do some live stuff. We're going to bring some other people on this podcast, but we're going to make some things special happen. You're going to get the real here. Man Status 101. Remember, God woke you up. Now the rest is up to you. God woke you up. Now the rest is up to you. You guys have a great evening, good morning, or good night. Wherever you are, we just gonna get to it. All right. Take care.